Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our panel discussion. I'm Ivy. I'm the founder of Zilli Intelligence, known as 物联网智库 in Chinese. So we are the largest think tank of Internet of Things in China. Today's topic is breaking through with smart hardware applications. So I regard DeepIn as an extension of Internet of Things. So it's tightly linked. We have amazing panelists today. So could you introduce yourself a little bit? Gao Yuan, please.
Sure, I guess I will start. My name is Yuan Gao. I'm the co-founder of Gradient Network. So basically, we are distributed AI research and product labs. So we're mostly focusing on two products, so distributed inference, and also we're building an enterprise reinforcement learning platform right now. So our product is for enterprise individual developers, and recently we have another new primitive. So that's for smart hardwares because they also have the demand for access to AI. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, Rohan.
Yeah, hey guys, this is RJ. I'm the CMO for Roam by Metablocks. At Roam, we're building a global decentralized network that helps you stay connected to internet. But at the same time, we're bringing AI closer to you by providing constant internet access and AI tokens. You can go discover a lot of Wi-Fi's and eSIMs around you, but at the same time, you can leverage the connectivity layer and the infrastructure we've built to use AI on your devices and even on our devices. Really happy to be here and chat more with great partners here. Thanks.
Okay, welcome, Rohan. Henrik, please.
Hey guys, I am the CIO and founder of Maverick Capital. We are a hedge fund focusing in EOS equities, but when it comes to DeepIn and investing side in crypto, I've been working in venture capital for a few years too. It's a Hashkey Capital. And also, until recently, head of research at Peak Network. Peak is a DeepIn layer 1, so a DeepIn layer 1 for the machine economy. And been doing a lot of research about DeepIn, so really looking forward for this conversation.
Okay, welcome everyone again. So let's start. Let's start with the most basic question. Every hardware network has a chicken and egg problem. No devices, no users, and no users, no value. So how do you take the first step? Gao Yuan, would you mind to start?
Sure, yeah. I think I have some experience in this because before starting Gradient, I was actually working for Helium for quite a while. So I have the first-hand experience to how to grow a global network. But I think there's a major paradigm shift because in the past you have the luxury to build a very large, millions of devices, global machine network before you actually have demand. But right now, I think the situation has totally changed. You need to start with demand first, right? So in that sense, I think there's a few premises that you have to follow. So first, you better have a real PMF. In that sense, either you provide some unique feature or the units of economics is very good for a network. And secondly, because you don't have the luxury to build a global network. So I think the network you're building should have a minimum viable scale, right? So if you have a very dense, very good supply in a very small geographic region, if that works, then it will probably work. So that's my opinion on this.
Yeah, I think Yuan covered a lot of it, but in terms of Roam, we kind of skipped the chicken and egg problem because we leveraged the existing open roaming network that was already deployed across the globe. They had over 4 million network nodes that we implemented within our app and let users play with it. So from the start go, users were able to leverage the Wi-Fi and play and see how it is going to work. I think the main issue or the main problem that there was is not the technology, but it's the user behavior because it keeps on changing. And people here on the panel can probably resonate with it that DeepIn, as Yuan mentioned, has completely changed from the start. So we need to leverage the fact that people keep on changing their habits, the way they use the internet, and then grow from that. Now you need to focus a lot on the real utility that users can have rather than just growing it from the start. But that's how basically Rome evaded the whole chicken and egg problem.
As maybe I have a quick follow-up question. Do you still believe that token incentives can be part of solving that chicken and egg problem, or is that going to dilute the token price over time?
I think it dilutes the token price over time, but at the start of any project, I would say you still need some sort of incentivization and gamification for the ball to roll. But at the same time, as Johan mentioned, you need to be clever with your tokenomics and how you've figured out the whole infrastructure for the users to come in and play with your network.
So Henrik, from an investor perspective, do you have any comments or any new ideas in your mind?
Yeah, what I've been observing for a long time, including not only in deep in hardware-based Web3 projects, but also other projects, is that many times to try to bring users and token holders, like half of the team is allocated to token-related activities. And when compared to traditional startups, most of the team is allocated to developing the products and bringing like regular users and regular sales. So I feel that for a while, I feel that Web3 projects, crypto projects are at a disadvantage because they need to worry too much about the token and to allocate too much resources to managing the token price. And if the token price goes down, then people are not so attracted to be users of the project. Yeah, so in general, I would like to see more people using the projects not because of token incentives and token hype, but rather like really because of the product itself. And it seems that Rome has been doing that because before token there was already a network there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very deep point. So let me link this with our next question, talking about incentives. I think this is the secret weapon of DeepIn. So the points, tokens, and mining rewards, these are powerful tools, but they can also only attract maybe the wrong people. They are only looking for money and leave quickly. So how do you solve this problem, and what's your secret weapon? So Rohan, could we start from you this
Secret
question?
weapon, okay. With Rome, what we did was we had a 3-step process. We focused on growth. Second was the quality. Third was the usage. And during the growth stage, we never really filtered who's coming on board and who's using it. And we wanted that initial push across all the platforms. And then the step 2 came in, which was the quality. So after the initial growth, you want to vet the quality of the users that there are. As you mentioned, the short-term users are going to leave. The quality real-world users are going to stay. And that's what your focus should be on. And then the third was the usage. We have highly pivoted across the last 1.5 years to make sure that we're bringing what the users really need. Initial rollout was from Wi-Fi's, then we skipped on to eSIM, and now we're on to the Roam AI, because we believe that's going to be the next step and that demand for the users that's going to come in from. And the quality users will stay. These people are not there to farm your token, farm your points, but they're there to use your network and basically benefit from it. And as I mentioned, we followed the 3-step process. We rewarded everybody at the start, then we rewarded the quality users, and then we started rewarding the people who are really using our products and even sort of paying to use our products, not just farming our points and tokens. I think that's one of the biggest aspects that helped us to filter out, but I'm pretty sure like it's different for example, Gradient, to how they filtered out users and farming bots and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I pretty much echo what Rohan says. That pretty much summarize some of the important points of designing a token mechanism. But I think like rule of thumb, in principle, like, so first, I think the token should be rewarding utility, right? And also quality of service. So that's the most important thing. Rather than just like you put like a mass amount of token into just the capacity building, because we all know just to incentivize capacity building, that's easy. But if you want it to stick, so that takes much more. And in terms of the like token release and like the dynamics of the token, so like the high inflation, very static kind of design is kind of in the past. So there's a lot of nuances. So like how to manage the supply, how to like provide token supply according to your actual demand. So those are the tactical choices you have. But I think on principle, you just stick with the quality users, like reward the quality of service and also like utility. So that's the main point.
Yeah, Ewan, I think you just touched a very important topic, which is like the token inflation and how to strike that fine balance between like the token inflation, the incentives, and the supply and demand. Because if you have, it's like the laws of economics, if you have more supply than demand for the token, the price will just go down over time. So like projects, I don't know what's the right answer, but need to strike that balance where token emissions are always smaller than the value that is created by the products and smaller than the demand that there is for the token.
Definitely. Like the simple answer is like the token emission can be a function of your actual revenue, right? Something like that. Yeah. So I think there are many ways to realize this, but I think that's the principle. Yeah.
So, Henrik, what if you look at the Deepin project? What's the is there any red flag for the incentive model on your side?
For the incentive model, I think I'll say a red flag will be mostly, too much token emissions, too much inflation. When it comes to tokenomics, I think first I'll like to see teams dedicate more to product than to managing tokens. And although I know that in the past in the VC space, many VCs want a TG as fast as possible. They want allocations. They want discounts. They want very quick vesting periods so that they can just sell their token. And that's a model that doesn't work for the long term. I hope that VCs in the future bet in projects like not thinking about the token itself. And I think Hashkey is doing this, which is like, even when I was working for Hashkey 2 or 3 years ago, we don't care when the TG is going to happen because the most important thing is really the product. But then when it comes to the token management is really be very careful with vesting periods and token emissions to avoid diluting the token over time. And focus more on the product side, I guess, yeah.
Okay, I'm listening and learning, and I quite love your discussion style. So let's move to our next question, okay? The balance between hardware and ecosystem. Shipping devices is hard, but even if you ship 1 million devices without apps, developers, and real use cases, the network has no value. So let's start from Gao Yuan. This time, you are the co-founder of Helium, and now you are starting another project. So what do you think about this balance?
I think there's no right and wrongs. There are different approaches to bootstrap the network. So basically, you have to make a very decision at the very beginning. So what's your supply is going to look like? So basically, there are a few options. First, you can do what Helium has been doing, right? Basically, what they have been doing is they have like a pilot device designed by themselves. And soon after they gain some attractions, they open source the blueprint, and everyone in the ecosystem can build their own hardware. So that's one approach. So that's the most open, ecosystem-friendly way to build this. And so you can also use the Apple way, right? You build everything by yourself, end to end. You will have the best experience and all that. So many projects took that approach. I think there's nothing wrong with it. So that provides the best customer service and experience. That's another way. And also, like Roam has another approach. Basically, they are utilizing existing hardwares. So that's another way to minimize the bootstrap cost. So it's a very smart way to do this. And so that's from the hardware side. And also from the software side, you also have options, right? Basically, you can take the Apple approach or Android approach. Either you open up the whole infrastructure stack, or you build everything end to end. So personally, I would think the more open system will have a long-term edge. But that's my opinion. So yeah. So I think every project at the inception phase, they need to figure out those questions. So like, what's their supplies going to look like? What's their infra stack going to look like? And are they going to build a very close, very managed system, or just let it be? And only managing the macros. So I think that's two very different approaches. But there's no right and wrongs for different use cases. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Yuan mentioned a lot of good points, especially about Apple, for example. In case of Roam, what we did was we bootstrapped the whole thing leveraging existing network, but then also we made a whole ecosystem of connectivity, starting with Wi-Fi, then eSIMs, then if you download the Roam app, you have everything within the Roam app, and now you have AI within the Roam app. Shipping millions of devices is not easy. Doesn't matter how much it costs. Just look at Apple, right? So when they started, it wasn't easy for them to roll out iPhones. But now iPhone is a great device. Everybody buys one. But then once you buy an iPhone, you probably are going to buy AirPods. And then once you get AirPods, you're probably going to get Apple Music. So they've built a whole closed loop where once the user enters, they stay. And that's essentially what we're trying to build with Roam. We provide connectivity using Wi-Fi, but then let's just say you don't have Wi-Fi at some spot, you use eSIM. And now you want to use AI. You can use GPT, Claude, or Grok, or anything. Or you can even leverage Clawbot within our devices. And at the same time, we're enabling people to buy these AI tokens within the Roam ecosystem. And the Max 60, which is the hardware that Roam sells, is not the end point for us, but it's like one of the clogs in the whole machine, which user can buy and use it any way they want. But again, as Jan mentioned, there's no right or wrong way. It's just you need to pick your battle and just go through with it, and then cross your fingers and hope it rolls out perfectly, and you win in the end. So yeah.
So, Ron, a question for you.
Yeah.
Do most users join by buying your device, or can they join by using an existing hardware?
So initial rollout was by using existing devices, existing Wi-Fi's. It was a very sort of a gamified experience where, let's just say you and me go to a McDonald's, we're going to compete who's going to add the Wi-Fi to the network. So it was fun. People were literally fighting for it in a good way. But then a lot of users started to understand that we're incentivizing users who own our hardware more because that's more valuable to our network. So a lot of people started shifting onto the hardwares. If you ask me if we stop incentivizing, will Roam die? I don't think so, because we have real users paying real money for real world utility. So initial rollout was, as you mentioned, from existing hardware, but now a lot of users have bought Roam hardware and are using the physical and the eSIM devices that we provide.
And I guess you guys are entering a kind of what the so-called deep in flywheel, right?
Exactly,
Where
exactly.
you have the rewards, which attracts more devices, which generates fees. On-chain fees are good for the token, and all incentivizes again and again, right?
Yes, I think you mentioned one point that we need to find the right balance. It took a lot. It was really difficult to do that, but I think like most of the deep-in projects do face that. But I'm really excited about what we're pivoting towards, which is the AI part now, because see, we all are using AI these days, but it also needs connectivity, and that's what we are providing, and that's what the infrastructure layer we've built for. So really exciting for the upcoming times.
Yeah, that's really cool. And maybe a follow-up question, I don't know, for you or for Yuan, will be like, I feel that a few years ago, so Helium was extremely successful, expanding very, very fast. But I don't know if there was a point where the people felt that the payback of the machines, of the devices, was not there. And then it was like inverse flywheel, let's say, right? And now Helium, I think, is doing pretty well. And what we see, the token price is really the fundamentals there. But how do you avoid like potentially the inverse flywheel where token price declines, the payback of the machine is not there anymore, people stop, buying?
Yeah, I think that's a very, very difficult question. Like, so, at the beginning, the hyper growth is probably because of the token. You have like a very positive loop, and when I think there's a phase that Helium is trying to ramp up their revenue and trying to have the product market fit. So during that phase, I assume there is some turbulence. So some users, they found the rewards from their machines are not quite there. And that creates some sort of reverse kind of flywheel effect. But I think, things come down to 2 points. So maybe at the very beginning, if we look at this retrospectively, so when you design the token mechanism, you should be very careful. You should be very, very careful with the token mechanism design. So that could help to avoid a lot of unnecessary emission. So also can help with the reverse flywheel effect. And secondly, I think it should all go back to the fundamentals. You need to have the use case. You need to have utility. So I think in Helium's case, so the IoT, the adoption on IoT side is still on ramping, but I think on the mobile side, they have really, really good usage right now, right? I think in US alone, there's probably like more than 2 million users daily who are consuming like $20 per month. So if you look at that kind of volume of revenue, that's something very sustainable. So I think the turbulence is going to be there because no one can one-shot everything, right? It's like a try and correction way just to figure things out. Yeah.
Okay, Henrik, besides asking questions, could you summarize what's in your mind about this question?
Sorry, say again.
You were discussing very deep questions, so what's in your mind and what's your answer to this question?
Oh, I've been working in crypto now for 10 years, and I wrote 3 books about crypto, and the last book that I wrote was for HK Capital. It's called Digital Asset Valuation Framework. And I wrote this book almost 3 years ago, and the goal was to evaluate cryptos and altcoins and tokens the same way we evaluate a stock. We have on-chain revenue, we have these on-chain metrics, on-chain users, active wallets, TVL, total value locked, and devices. And 2 or 3 years ago, there was really a direct correlation between like the fundamentals and the price of the tokens. And unfortunately, over the last 2 years or so, we see many good projects with good fundamentals, and the price of the token just doesn't work, right? So I think like we need to go back to the fundamentals, and I don't know how the market is going to do this. And for you guys as founders of projects, I would like to know from you what's your views on like how is the market going to reconnect with fundamentals, because over the last 2 years it's totally disconnected, right? I've been very close to the Peak network, for example, and we've seen the token price decline by 95%, I don't know. We have seen Helium price decline by 99%, and we are talking about very legit projects, right? So when do we reconnect again with fundamentals?
I think so. The valuation of token is like the holy grail question. I think no one can answer that, but so I think in the past there's definitely a deviation, right? If you use the traditional finance kind of way to evaluate the token price, there's like the diversion would be very big, right? Either you use multiplier or like some sort of DCF. It's not there because I think in the past people value the revenue less. They just want to see vision. But right now, like I think users, community members, and investors are becoming more and more sophisticated. I think although there's not an established valuation framework, but we can see there's a very positive correlation between what the protocol can generate in terms of revenue and profit, and their valuation. So I think it's getting there, but yeah, I think especially for like the coming rounds of new projects, so that's something they should keep in mind. So you should always go back to the fundamentals. Yeah.
Okay, we have discussed about the many questions about like incentives and how to start, and users and values, and maybe speculators. So if you could start back from day one, what is the one thing you would do differently?
So that's a tough question. But of course, hindsight is always 6x6, so you learn from your mistakes. For Rome, I would say we would focus a bit more on the real world monetization with whatever we did. Plus, I would say as the team, we will focus a bit less on the whole gamification experience, but bringing in real utility and real value from the start. We personally believe we focus a lot on the gamified section, and then we got a lot of farmers and these bots who were farming our points and tokens. But if now we could go back, we would like to do it in a different way. But as Johan mentioned, you need to learn and pivot from whatever you're doing wrong, and then be open enough to accept whatever the community is requiring from you and demanding from you. So I think those would be the 2 points I would like to go back and change for Rome.
So I actually like, I think it's pretty good. I wouldn't change a thing. So I'll just let it run in cost. But I think, but I would rather looking forward, right? So if we want some advice or some visions for the future, for founders who want to create some sort of machine network. So I think my suggestion is, because I think there's a major trend, right? The machine network are converging with the agent economy. So that's probably like the biggest alpha going forward, like for machine networks. So I think for new projects, like the founders should keep in mind, are you building the network for human, or are you building the network for agents? So that's like a very important question, because like even internally in our team right now, like we always trying to change people's perspective. You need to be like AI native and to build things around that point. So I think in terms of machine networks, I think the device should be natively supporting the agent economy stack. So that's one thing very important. And the second thing I think is very important is when you look at the hardware, it should be AI ready out of box, right? It's very similar to the SaaS industry, the software industry, right? So in the past, people are stuck with GUI, like a very good human user experience. But I think in the future, the device itself should be agent ready, right? Basically, so every device should have some sort of like a API interface. When an agent, because if I'm running an agent locally on my machine, if I read some skills, read some documents, I can connect it to that device directly without any kind of like human intervention. So I think going forward, that's very important. Like if you are building a machine network, how to make it agent native, agent economy native. So I think there's a whole stack, right? Identity, payment, and how to interact with the device. There's a lot of things we can explore there. So I would rather look at it like the future rather than just to reflect on the past. Yeah. Thank you.
Eric, what's your suggestion or advice?
Maybe a follow-up questions here. So like a few years ago, I think projects and investors look a bit down on agents and bots using the network. Now it's probably quite different because AI and agents they are big users. But how do you measure their value? Is it like on-chain fees that they pay? Like how do you measure it?
I think it goes to the same valuation system. So I think it's like a very fuzzy correlation right now. I think like within the industry, I don't see there's a very established framework to evaluate that. But there are some indicators, right? As I mentioned, like revenue, like transaction volume, like profit margin. So like there's some positive correlations. But of course, like the market sentiment is also important, right? Like even in the very traditional stock markets, it's not like it's totally rational. There's also sentiments. There's also like a kind of perception. That's part of that should be also counted as part of the value, right? I don't know. I cannot give a concrete answer, but I think you can see the correlation has changed. So in the past, it's more like awareness, but now it's utility and revenue. So yeah.
Yeah, I think like crypto is still young for AI agents. Everybody's building one, right? We don't even know who's a really good builder. As Jon mentioned, there's no clear indication how to measure them. I think like give it a year or two, it's automatically going to filter out and the real ones are going to stay. And then we can measure who's a good AI agent builder and stuff. Like for Roam, for example, we're building the layer where people can deploy these agents, right? We are decentralized. Anybody can do it, but I can't judge it right now who's going to be a good one, who's going to be a bad one. Probably eventually once users play with it, once users also use it and interact with it, we're going to filter them out.
Got it, got it. No, I was wondering if in your specific cases, if you can know whether a user is an AI agent or a human agent, let's say. Because, for example, now on the Peak network, right, it's a deep-in layer one, and you have these wallet SDKs that can be used by AI agents or by machines, by robots and so on. So you know very well whether that transaction fee is coming from a machine, from an AI, or from a human. So I was wondering if you can kind of make that distinction, because one of the big promises of DeepIn and so on is like that machines will talk to each other, AIs will talk to each other, they'll transact between each other, and this will create a lot of value, right, from machine to machine.
Yeah, in our case, the line is becoming thinner and thinner. It's becoming hard to really figure out who a real user is and who is an AI agent, because they're becoming better, and then it's good for all of us. But I would say eventually each one of us here is going to have their own AI agent doing stuff for them. And that's a good problem to have for any project, I would say. So that's in our case.
By the way, a follow-up question on agents. So you said before that users can deploy CloudBot on the Roam machine, right? Then this CloudBot, is there any like functionalities that can do within the Roam network, or is it like a regular CloudBot?
It is like a regular CloudBot, plus you can do pretty much whatever you want in the Roam network. It can enable your Wi-Fi, it can enable your eSIMs, it can even like figure out how many points you have, how many tokens you have. You want to do whatever you want, right? So it's decentralized. We don't control it. It's up to the user what they want, but it is highly integrated within the Roam ecosystem as well.
Okay, very amazing and wonderful discussion here. So Harry, besides asking questions, what's your advice to founders of DeepIn?
Oh, I don't know. My advice, well, I think you guys are doing great. You're really being on the top of the latest technological trends and AI and pivoting when necessary to adopt these technologies. And yeah, I really don't know. When I look at the Peak network, which is my most recent experience when it comes to DPN and machine economy. I think they integrated very well all the aspects of the machine economy and DPN and AI agents. So at the moment, for example, on the DPN network, you can deploy an AI agent that can manage physical machines. And it sounds a little bit like sci-fi, but it's already a reality. So the PIC network has a partnership with the Dubai government. They have created something called the Machine Economy Free Zone. It's a real free zone in the UAE. And there you have multiple machines that go from solar panels, charging stations, electric vehicles, delivery robots, that they are all communicating between each other, all transacting between each other. They have AIs managing these machines, so they can identify, for example, there are self-driving cars that are doing taxi service in this machine economy free zone. And if the AI notices that they can expand the fleet, now they can use the on-chain revenue to buy a new car. Of course, there needs to be a human, and there is probably a company in the loop. But this full integration of different AIs and machines and allowing everything to be autonomous, I think it's pretty cool, because one of the big promises of DeepIn is really to automate everything. And you, as a token holder, you can benefit from the value that is created by the machines, by the network, and be able to bootstrap these networks of machines. It's pretty cool. So like, I really like to see projects like yours, guys, but also projects where you have like full integration of different kinds of machines that talk to each other within the same network, exchange tokens, exchange information, exchange payments, communicate to AI, and like fully integrated on the blockchain, and fully transparent also, which brings a lot of, it's much easier to manage for investors to invest when there is full transparency on-chain revenue, right? That's instead of waiting for the quarterly reports like you do in the stock market, you have every day, every hour, you have the data there. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Very good point. So that's all for our panel. Thank you all, and I hope you have enjoyed our discussion. Thank you for our distinguished panelists, and thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
谢谢你们的分享. Thank you for all your sharing. Thank you very much. Hope you guys enjoy Hong Kong Web3 Festival 2026.